Good morning. Is my presentation visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, just a minute. Good afternoon, participants. And in fact, uh, it is a great pleasure for me to present this reliability application in renewable energy integration. And I would like to thank Dr. Vivek for extending the invitation for these two sessions. First, we are discussing about the reliability applications in renewable energy integration, and then in next session we talk about some publication guidelines, some publication ethics, and I hope you will find the another session very useful as well. So here uh, how I will be presenting this. First of all, I would like to, of course, this is more towards the renewable energy integrations and the what issues we have with respect of the conventional power systems. First of all, we try to slight bit understand what are the issues, why we want to go for the renewables, and then uh, after giving an overview of these renewable energy systems, distributed generation, microgrids, and then we talk about, give some two case studies that how we can carry out the reliability studies in a distribution system, or how we can carry out the study with integration of renewable energy sources. So here, first of all, as you see that reliability of power system, the 4 days you have gone the course. So most of these, the focus will be around reliability of conventional power systems. Uh, so first of all, like we have to understand in general, what are the major issues with respect of uh, conventional power system? Why we want to switch towards the uh, renewable? As we know that the power generation from fossil fuels, if you see from large number of countries, including USA, China, India, Australia, even South Africa. So most of these countries have got more than 50% power generation from coal-based power plant. The major issue with the coal-based power plant, as we know, is the huge pollution coming out from the fossil fuels. So I'm not going into to go for the details, but the major issue has been around the emissions coming out from the fossil fuels, and that has motivated worldwide to go for the alternatives in terms of renewable energy sources. So this pollution has been one of the major issues. Then another issues what we face is that low efficiency of coal-based power plants. If you see in this slide that the efficiency of coal-based power plant can be typically in the range, say 30 to 45%. Some of the countries, developed country, you can see that can have the efficiency around 43%, but unfortunately our power systems has got the efficiency around 30%. So even increasing a small percent of efficiency is extremely important. Now, of course, now we are moving towards the renewables, but still the situation is not going to change very soon. We still have to continue producing power from the coal-based or gas-based power plants next 30 to 50 years. So it becomes very much essential that how we improve the efficiency of coal-based power plants, how we decrease the emission from the coal or gas-based power plants. So this is again extremely important. So first thing is that how we improve the efficiency of coal-based power plant. If we have some site-specific coal-based power plants, that if we can have combined cycle gas turbine or combined heat and power plant, we can improve the efficiency significantly in the range of 60 to 65%. If, for example, if we have coal-based power plants and there is some industry, paper industry, steel industry, so which can utilize the steam, so the efficiency can be improved significantly. But we may not have these sorts of options for all the power plants. Then the another issue is the emission. So one of my PhD students did research on this topic, that how we can improve the efficiency of coal-based power plant. In fact, on the 20th October at NIT Delhi, in the another short-term program, I explained this quite in detail. So here basically, as we know that the combustion process in boiler is very complex. So if we can have real-time simulation with online learning technology, so that can lead to have the optimum combustion process. It will reduce the emission, and at the same time it will improve the efficiency of coal-based power plants. So here basic idea is that if we can use this high-tech cloud computing, performance computing, web-based service, in which boiler can learn in real time. So this research is published in this textbook. I'm not going into very detail of that. Then let us see the scenario of our Indian power systems. What is the energy mix we have? We have total installed capacity around 370 gigawatt. As Dr. Vivek mentioned, that you will have this short exam, so it is very good to understand that what kind of energy mix we have got in our Indian system. We have the power generation from coal-based power plant, 200 gigawatt, gas-based power plant, 25 megawatt. The total power coming from non-renewables around 230 gigawatts. So total we have 62.5% power coming from the non-renewables. On the other hand, the share of renewables is around 37.5%, 128 gigawatt. So it also becomes very essential that for our own country, we have the knowledge update that how is the generation mix. We have wind share 37.5 gigawatt, around 10%. Same is the case for solar system, around 9%, 31 gigawatt. Then of course we have some power generation from bio, and then of course we have a good capacity from the large hydro, around 50 gigawatt, 13.5%. So this is our energy mix, and then of course the target for global is to make more and more power from generating through renewable energy sources. The reason is obvious. The issues are around emission. And our future plans that we want to add more and more power from renewables to reach around 450 gigawatt in next 10 years from renewables, and hopefully we can achieve that, because we are doing very great in the power generation from renewables. Whatever the targets we are setting, we are able to achieve before time. Now, let us talk briefly about these renewables. What is the current trends? What are the issues with renewable distributed generation in context with reliability? So we have great benefits from the renewable distributed generation in terms of this is being green technology. Transmission and distribution losses can be significantly reduced. Okay, so with respect of conventional power systems are great way of supplying electricity, that they are highly reliable. If you talk about coal-based, large hydro, nuclear, so these power plants highly reliable. Whereas if we have a look on renewables, so unfortunately these are not reliable, because the renewable sources are highly fluctuating and intermittent. So these are highly unreliable. Okay. As we said, these are highly unreliable, and you will agree that at some instant of time we have wind, next instant almost no wind. Wind can vary plus minus 25% within few minutes. Same way photovoltaics, moving clouds, during night there is no sunshine. So basically these renewables, of course there are a large number of benefits, that these renewables like wind PV do not require any fuel, and of course generally they do not produce any emissions, so they are having several advantages. But if we see when we are producing the electricity, then conventional power system, they are highly reliable, but the major issue with them is the emissions, pollutions being produced. Whereas renewables, you can say they are highly unreliable in the sense that they are incoming input in terms of like wind or sunshine, it is quite fluctuating and intermittent. Then another major issues we see with respect when we are talking about these renewables is around the networks. We designed networks, transmission lines 70 years earlier, 50 years earlier. So at that time, who had given thought that these plants sometime will be integrated with renewable energy sources? So power flow becomes bidirectional when we are integrating renewable energy sources. The existing protection schemes are no longer valid. It may require significant modification to the existing scheme. Okay. So when we are integrating renewables, so we have to meet the grid codes. So some of these grid codes are listed here in terms of fault ride-through capability, voltage and frequency operating limits, active power control, reactive power control, other requirements in terms of power quality, protection, etc. So some of the terms like in power systems go very close to each other. Okay, when we are designing the power system, we would like that our power system would be 100% reliable. Means that we expect that there should be no fault at all, 0% fault. But practically it is impossible. Okay, so if we design 100% safe, reliable protection, so it is neither technically nor economically possible. So we have to make slight bit compromise. Compromise in the sense that, for example, if we have any current carrying conductor, so how much current it can carry? We can have very thick conductor, but it will add the cost. So we have to make a balance between the cost and reliability aspects as well. Now, let us see quick overview of these systems, wind system, what we have current installed capacity. Currently, at the end of last year, we had the capacity from wind around 650 gigawatt. How much we are adding every year? You can see from this graph, the capacity addition from wind is typically around 10% every year. So some of the countries which are leaders in power generation from wind are of course China, US, Germany, and we are really doing great as well. Spain followed by UK, etc. So this slide you might see in several papers. I'm not talking into the detail. Talks about how this development has taken place in the wind technology, growth of the individual wind turbines ratings, how the diameter also needs to be changed as we go for the higher size of wind turbine. What is the role of power electronics? Role of power electronics is extremely important. What generator technology we are using? So very popular generator technology which we currently use is DFIG and permanent magnet synchronous generator. Then we are going for larger and larger size of wind turbine. Currently we may go for like a 14 megawatt or 15 megawatt wind generator. Recently likely to started by Siemens. The another wind technology, offshore wind farm. So current installed capacity around 30 gigawatt. Mainly current installations are in Europe. Europe is of course making great target of around 150 gigawatt in next 10 years. What the offshore wind technology currently we have, how much depth inside the sea we can go. So we can go around up to 50 meters, but in future we may go more depth into the sea, more than 60 meters. So as we go inside the sea, there is better wind velocity available. We can generate more power from the wind. Okay, so here with respect of like of course with offshore, what are the issues? Issues are around currently construction of the foundation for the offshore wind farm and how we do maintenance. So doing the maintenance is a big challenge in offshore wind farm, and it is of course extremely costly as well. For example, you will see that we use the gearbox in wind turbine in the nacelle, and as we know, gear is most problematic device, requires huge maintenance, regular maintenance. So this maintenance, reliability go together. So how we maintain the reliability of offshore wind farm? So it is a great challenge. Okay. Then, as we have this small scale power generation from photovoltaic system, so same way in future we may come across with small scale wind systems. Like this slide shows the example of 3 kilowatt wind turbine installed at Victoria University in Australia. Of course, there are issues around it will have to cause the force on the rooftops, but there might be possibility that in future we may see small scale wind system. Now another renewables, we have this wind. So sorry, photovoltaics. So photovoltaic has got the huge potential. You can see that if we can tap the potential from sun just for 1 year, it can satisfy the demand for 1 year for the whole universe. And there are great advantages for generating electricity from photovoltaic systems in terms of no moving parts, means quite reliable. Silent operation, low maintenance and operation cost, means that very low maintenance means more reliability. Of course, efficiency is low. Gestation period is very small. We expect that by end of this year, the capacity from the photovoltaic system globally can touch around 800 gigawatt. And how much we are adding every year. So you can see the capacity addition from photovoltaics every year is in the range around 30%, whereas wind it is around 10%. So there are several large-scale photovoltaic plants coming worldwide, like in Egypt 1.8 gigawatt under construction, and then our Indian power system, we last year completed over 2000 megawatt PV plant in Karnataka state, and then another over 2000 megawatt plant constructed in Rajasthan. Our power utility, power company, National Thermal Power Corporation, so which is mainly in the business of power generation from coal-based and gas-based power plant. Recently, NTPC diversified its portfolio, entering significantly in the power generation from renewables. Plans to have more than 32 gigawatts power coming from the renewables. So they want to have the energy mix, which is currently 96%, bring down to 70%. So they want to diversify their portfolio significantly towards the renewables. So this is the slide showing the photovoltaic systems at University of Queensland. Through this website, in real time, you can see how much generation is taking place today. You can find a lot of other interesting information through this website. When we have these photovoltaic system integrations, there are several technical issues. If you have small system, issues can be around moving clouds, but if the PV system is very large, so what can be the issues? The issues can be around stability, and then how it will affect the overall stability of the power system. Okay, so you can relate these terms like stability. If the system is unstable, means the system is less reliable. So when we have this large scale PV system integrated into the renewables, so the issues are around how the stability of the power, overall stability of the power system, it will be affected. So now let us slightly discuss in context with the need for the reliable power system. As you see that the power system is extremely costly. Generation, transmission, distribution, extremely costly. How much cost is invested in power system? As you know, for generation of 1 megawatt typically require 4 to 5 crores. Same amount will be required in transmission and same amount it would be required in distribution. So typically to generate, transmit and distribute 1 megawatt, it can require of the order of 10 crores of rupees. Okay. But this power system extremely important for the development of human being, development of their quality of life. So the power system extremely important for economic growth for any country. Okay. If we have a nice, great power system, so it can relate to have, of course, we have to invest huge, but it can be beneficial to the nation in several ways. As you can see, high standard of living, socio-economical development. If you want to have uninterrupted power supply to meet the requirement of growing populations, like in our country, our energy demand is increasing. So this power sector has to be invested heavily in the infrastructure, development of generation, transmission, distribution. There is need for that, and of course reliability of the power system is extremely important. Okay. When we are talking about the integration of renewables, as we have seen that we cannot afford to have power generation only from the conventional power system. The issues are around emissions, the resources, fossil fuels. They are likely to be exhausted in next 50 to 70 years. Okay, so we have to move towards the renewables. As I mentioned, that renewables, the major issues around the renewables are highly, unreliable. No wind at some instant of time, no sunshine during the night. So these are highly unreliable. Then why we want to integrate these renewables? Because they are very clean. This is very interesting way to see that conventional power system highly reliable, very good power quality, great way of producing the power, but highly polluting. Whereas renewables, they are highly unreliable in terms of highly fluctuating, but very neat and clean. So because of these pollution issues, worldwide situation is that we are going towards the renewables, integrating more and more from the renewables. This could be in terms of microgrid. Microgrid could be isolated, or this large-scale integration from the wind farms, large-scale photovoltaic systems. So these can be integrated with the grid as well. So renewable integration could be in terms of isolated microgrid, or it can be connected with the grid. Okay, so we have to design a power system with the integration of renewables. When we have an isolated microgrid, then how we maintain the reliability of the systems. Reliability, that in power system, two key aspects of the power systems. One is voltage, another is frequency. Okay, so these you can relate with respect of reliability. Okay, if whatever we are doing for the reliability, if the system frequency goes to the 47 Hertz, 46 Hertz, it will lead to the blackout situation. Same could be the case if frequency goes 53 Hertz. So frequency of the power system you can relate to the reliability. Same is the voltage. If the voltage deviation is more than say 5 or 10%, okay, so it will violate the limits, and it will lead to have the making the system unreliable. Okay, so how we maintain the voltage and frequency, particularly in the microgrid system. So these resources, wind, PV, highly unreliable. So of course we have to operate with some reliable source of power systems like diesel generator. Again, diesel generator is a problematic device, cause pollution, lot of noise, lot of maintenance, and several other issues. Okay, high cost. But again, we have to make a reliable power system. So even we are not willing, but still we have to integrate diesel generator. Then of course add the battery storage system, which is also adding more maintenance. So the reliability is the top, that we have to maintain the reliability of the power system. So here, when we are designing a microgrid system, it can be connected to the grid or it can be isolated. So what are our objectives? Objective are of course that we have the acceptable level of reliability. Okay. Of course, we would like to reduce the cost of energy, minimize the greenhouse gas emission. Like when we are designing any problem, first we decide what are the objective functions. So our objective functions can be around reduction of cost, reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, reduction of cost, reduction of maintenance cost, reduction of fuel costs, improving of the reliability. So there can be large number of the objectives. So when we are designing a problem, we have to see what different issues we are going to consider. Then when we are talking about the reliability of power systems. So in conventional power system, you can find a large number of reliability indices. I'm not going into the detail. You might have already covered in this course. So we talk about this average failure rate, average outage time, SAIFI, SAIDI, CAIDI. So you can find a large number of these reliability indices definitions. So you can see this one of the research paper. In fact, this my PhD student, Dr. Temi Tope, who work on the reliability of renewable power systems. So I will try to explain some of his research work. So first, like this integration of renewable energy sources into the power systems. So very nice review. So explains large number of reliability indices, even some of which you may have not come across. So you can refer large number of the reliability indices terms. Okay. Then you can also see here that when we are integrating renewable energy sources, so what are the benefits? Benefits we can see in terms of environmental benefits. So we are very much aware of the environmental benefits from the renewables, reduction of greenhouse gases. Then we can have the economic benefits that can reduce the cost of energy, obviously can reduce the cost of fuel, can reduce the maintenance cost, can reduce the net present cost, which we call as NPV or NPC. Then with the integration of renewable energy sources, it can improve the reliability of the power system. It can look like very strange. As I explained that these renewables are highly unreliable, highly fluctuating. Then how you can improve the reliability of the power system? Okay, so when we are defining the research problem, how we are presenting our research, so it depends upon how we are presenting, in what context we are talking about the reliability. So it can also improve the reliability of the power system, can improve the several reliability indices. Okay, so when we are doing the renewable energy integrations in the power system, there is no option about that. So worldwide, we are adding more and more power from the renewable energy sources. The reasons are obvious, that the fossil fuels are depleting, causing the huge impact on the environment, which we cannot afford. And of course, like when we are analyzing the reliability, we have to see, some of the indicators into the details, that you consider the power system, that how much is the percent I know large. Then of course we integrate in the transmission or sub-transmission system. And as you might have already gone through it, so basically you can see in this table that this is from RN Allen reliability evolution of power system. Like the most of the problems, failures are in distribution system. Okay. So if you see the overall power system, generation, transmission, and distribution, so large number of failures, the outage will be in the low voltage distribution systems. Okay, so here when we are integrating renewables in the distribution system, okay, so if we are carrying out some system study, okay, like if we have our Indian power system, if we have got some data network system is there. And if you want to add the renewables. So before we actually install the renewable plants, we will like to have the system study. That of course we will see wherever we have the renewable sources. Of course, wind can be more site specific. There might be flexibility to some extent with the photovoltaic systems. So which places, which bus bars, which areas we would like to integrate renewable energy sources. Then we have the possibility that on particular buses. So this system shows a reliability, Roy Billington reliability test system. So this is the research done by one of my PhD student, Dr. Temi Tope. This paper is published in Applied Energy. I'll give the reference for that. So here, when we are integrating renewables, wind, photovoltaic systems, etc., in the distribution system, of course, then we have to model the microgrid system. As I mentioned, that what are our objectives? So objectives could be around minimizing of the cost, can be minimizing of the cost. Then of course we give the considerations, that system considerations, whatever the different generating units we have got, what are their limits, so we can optimize the system. I'm not going into the detail. Then of course, like when we have the like the microgrid, for example. So microgrid, we might be operating just only with the diesel. Okay, so how much is the cost from the diesel? And how much is the fuel consumption? If there is only diesel, how much the diesel system is reliable? As we are adding more and more sources, basically in parallel, so the system reliability will increase. If we are adding the components in series, the reliability of the system will decrease. But when we are adding the components in parallel, obviously the reliability of the system will increase. So here, if we are studying the reliability of the power system in an isolated system, so which will be generally supplied with only diesel. So in comparison to it is being only supplied with diesel, but when we are adding the renewables, wind, photovoltaic system, how it can improve the cost, how it can reduce the emission, how it can improve the reliability. So I'm not going into discussing the results, but I will give you the reference to the paper because we have a slight bit shortage of time. So this is like one of the paper. It talks about the around the cost aspects, minimizing of the cost, and then the, of course, it talks about the minimizing of the fuel consumption, and of course the emissions from the photovoltaic systems. Sorry, minimizing of the emissions from the system. Now here, basically, we have considered the different cases. like the different cases can be in the sense that when we have only diesel, then when the diesel is integrated with wind, diesel is integrated with wind and PV, diesel is integrated with wind, PV, battery storage system. So this way we have considered the several cases, and then this study is around minimize about the cost analysis, the of course around these reliability aspects, that the total cost if this system cannot supply the energy. So this will again relate to the reliability. So here in this research paper, like a comparative analysis for the renewable energy resources is carried out by studying the effects of interest rates on cost of energy, net present cost, and annualized cost of the system. Okay. It has been demonstrated in this research paper that obviously the cost of energy, net present cost, annualized cost will change as the interest rate changes, because there is huge investment in the power sector, even it's microgrid. So basically the companies, the utilities, they will get the loan from the banks. So what is the interest rate? Accordingly, the cost of energy, net present cost will change, and this will also indicate that this interest rate will have the significant effect on these operating parameters. Okay. Then this another research published in Applied Energy in 2019. So here again it is a microgrid system comprising of wind, photovoltaic systems, diesel generator with battery storage system. So I'm just explaining it in very brief. So here as I explained in the previous paper, this paper also we consider different cases like this case study 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have the, like in case study 1, we consider only diesel. Case 2, we consider diesel. Then we have PV, wind and energy storage system in their varying capacity. Okay, in previous one we can have like the say we can have system like diesel with only wind, or it can be diesel with wind and PV. So case study can be around that, or you have these all different systems with different capacities. Like here in the different capacities, we are increasing the power from the photovoltaic systems. Here we are also increasing the power from the wind. The battery capacity we are increasing. So depending upon the research problem, how you design, you have a your power system with the integration of renewables, and then you are interested in carrying out some analysis. It could be around costs, it could be around emission, or it can be around reliability aspects. So here, with respect of this renewable energy integrations for the different case studies, how much is the cost of the energy in terms of dollar per unit of energy. So you can see that when we had only diesel, so the cost of energy is huge. Then you can see the levelized cost of energy, the emission cost, interruption costs. So these are obviously high. Fuel cost as well, fuel cost, maintenance cost, etc. But when we are adding the renewables, okay, so of course renewables in how much percent or how much quantity. So obviously in different cases we are increasing the share of renewables. As we are increasing the share of renewables, the cost of energy is reducing. So that will be obviously one of the objective for designing a power system with the integration of renewables. Then obviously if it is a microgrid system, the emission cost, if we compare that microgrid system is operating only with the diesels, so obviously emission, to take care for the emission, the cost will be huge. It will cause huge amount of emission. Then as we are adding more and more renewables, obviously the emission level will be reduced, and to overcome these emission issues, the cost will also be reduced. Then as we are adding more and more renewable energy sources in parallel with their more capacity, then you can see the interruption cost, means that how much time the system is down. For example, if you have only diesel, there is more chances of failure. But if you have the different types of generation, then system reliability will increase. Then we can see the benefit in terms of overall cost. So of course we can see that which system can be the optimum one in terms of cost. We can also have the environmental analysis impact. This we can compare with respect of when we have only, the first case study is with respect of that we have only the diesel generator to supply the isolated microgrids. But when we are integrating the another renewable energy sources in terms of wind, PV, energy storage systems in their varying capacities, so obviously the emission will start decreasing with respect of diesel. So you can see the change. Then we can study the reliability indices. So as we can define the different reliability indices, I'm not going into the detail to understand. So for the different cases like this, if we have the several renewable energy sources, then this is like the cost for the energy not supplied. that basically our system is how much our system is becoming more reliable. So you will see that this reliability indices, as we have this more renewable energy integrations, so this is improving. So just to mention that the student who did the PhD on this reliability integration of power system, some of very good research papers with the integration of renewables in the distribution system. First paper I try to, first paper is of course review paper, and then you can see the reliability assessment of distribution system with the integration of renewables, reliability and economic assessments of power systems. Then this very latest one, reliability, economic and environmental analysis of microgrid system in the presence of renewable energy sources. So these are some of the high quality research papers which have been published. And then of course, when we are talking about the recent power system, modern power system, which we call it a smart grid. Okay, so I'm not going to explain this in detail. I already talked much about that in the course on 20th October. But you will see here that this smart grid has three components: infrastructure, management, and protection. So infrastructure, when we are integrating renewables, then of course generation, in addition to conventional, we have power generation from renewables, electric vehicles are there. Then in transmission, we have of course sensors, phasor measurement units, wireless communications, then how we manage the systems with the objectives, reduction of cost. Again, you have this now smart grid. So obviously you have this renewable energy integrations. So the how you are managing, what are your key targets? So obviously reduction of losses, then improve the efficiency, and then reduce the cost, reduce the price, reduce the emissions. So basically your objectives are similar, which you have the whether you are designing the microgrid system, and then how you are protecting. So here how you are protecting the power system with the integrations, power flow becomes bidirectional. So protection is one of the major issue. The system reliability, you can see the system reliability extremely important, that how you improve or maintain the reliability of the system within the acceptable limits. And then of course another issue is around the security and privacy of the data. So this is extremely important. These are some of my recent books, publications in this area of renewables, power system protection in the smart grid environment, distributed generation. This is power electronics drives, some advanced applications. So you are welcome to contact. Thank you very much for your kind